and welcome to the program. Ukraine's film industry is slowly stepping up on a new level with new projects appearing. However, much still needs to be done to fully revive once blooming sector. Joining us in the studio today is Ross Gilliatt, an American actor and right now a senior producer at Ukrainian Film Institute. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So, what is Ukrainian Film Institute?
Well, it's interesting. It's a relatively new company. It's a nonprofit NGO. And I work actually in the for-profit group, which is the Ukrainian Film Institute Production Company. It's a limited liability corporation. UFI was founded by a group of very conscientious Ukrainian producers who wanted to reform the industry, which unfortunately has some rather not good aspects about it, and want to make sure that,
what?
Well, it's known for corruption, and in some cases this goes into very big money. And we want it to be transparent, we want it to be legitimate, and also very profitable, which it can be for people who want to participate as investors. Is corruption the only obstacle Ukrainian film industry needs to overcome? No, we have a number of others. The fact that the bureaucracy here is overwhelming. Anyone will tell you that getting stuff through for approvals through the government is, well, it's monumental to say the least. So that's another thing that we're working on. The other aspect about UFI is that we are looking to move forward in technology development in filmmaking, and digital technologies are a big part of that. We're looking at 3D technologies, we're looking at interactive holographic technologies.
Is this technically possible to be made in Ukraine?
Yes, it is. And we have some very big companies, technology companies that are partnering with us, and we're looking at some projects in the near future that will be very amazing, and they will move the film industry at large forward.
Speaking of projects, Ukrainian Film Institute currently runs a number of projects. Do you have perhaps a favorite one, or probably the most promising one?
Well, yeah, I have a lot of projects going right now. I'm very, very busy. Currently, we have a very big film coming. It involves some A-list movie stars from Hollywood. It's being handled by a Hollywood production group along with us. And we are hoping to have that invested and funded here in the nearest future. But it's huge. It's going to be the biggest film that's ever been shot here on location in Kiev.
Oh wow, that's really intriguing.
And the interesting thing is that it will also have Ukrainian actors that are English speaking.
That's what I was about to ask.
Yeah.
Do Ukrainian actors participate in those projects?
Yes, yes. We have a number that are very, very talented and speak a couple of them native level English.
So language is not an issue anymore for Ukrainian actors at least?
Well, it is to some degree, but it's being overcome on a steady basis, much to our delight. And more places are teaching English for acting, and this is good. We hope that continues, because at the rate we're going, we'll see a lot of productions here.
You've worked in American filming industry for a lot of years, for a number of years, and now you're working in Ukrainian film industry. Comparing those two,
well, you've got cultural.
Your evaluation.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. It's difficult to give you a fair evaluation, but I'll try and give a reasonable one. Hollywood is an entity in and of itself. It's got its own culture, its own way of doing things, and its own mentality as a result of that. The same thing is true about Ukraine. It is its own culture, its own way of doing things, and its own mentality. So coming here and doing things it's required some interesting obstacles to be overcome, some interesting challenges to be met. But we're doing it. We're getting there, and I think you're going to see a lot of changes in the way things are done, and hopefully expanded soon. We have a lot of facilities
How soon?
here.
How many years are we talking about?
I would hope in the next 3 to 4 years you'll see some very major changes.
That's really soon.
We hope. You know, there's no reason not to try. Let's put it that way.
In one of your articles, I've read that You said that Ukrainian film industry has finally shed the post-Soviet shadows.
Yes.
What did you mean by that?
Well, there were a lot of things about the film industry itself that weren't very desirable. As far as it was very tightly controlled. If you weren't, that's true of Hollywood as well, but it was as much or worse here. And if you weren't part of that group or in the inside group, you couldn't really expect to be successful at any level. And now we're seeing that changing. We're seeing outside film companies. I've already directed a film for a German production company. I was in another one for the same group. Really? And they're coming and they're filming large films here, big films. We also were involved with a French production company that filmed a series here, a crime series. So they're coming because the costs are low, the quality is here, and the talent is here. And that's good. We didn't have that
That's
before.
great.
Yeah.
But in general, how would you evaluate the current situation and the current state of Ukrainian film industry?
Well, we still see there are a lot of obstacles to overcome, and there is still a lot of controls. I think that those will slowly dissolve, but I'm hoping that in the near future we'll be able to connect with a lot of these people. We have the nice facilities of Film UA, which is good, and there are a lot of sound studio people and a lot of people that really have potential to open up big and allow changes to take place. We just have to expand the way they think. They have to think more along the ways that the West does things and how that they've been successful. Because there's for example, licensing in television in the United States is a $200 billion a year business.
That's
and
a
yet,
lot.
Yeah, that's huge. And yet, Ukraine is just now starting to look at trying to get involved in that. And that's just the television marketing.
I would assume the filming marketing
marketing is just gigantic.
Wider.
I mean, it's much, much bigger. Yeah. It is harder to get in. There are requirements to be met, but it can be done. That's one of the reasons that UFIP exists, to get us into the global market. That's what we're going to do.
Well, thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you so much for coming. And
my pleasure.
Thank you so much for such an informative conversation. It was my pleasure. That was Ross Gilliatt, an American actor and right now senior producer at Ukrainian Film Institute Productions. Thank you so much for watching and goodbye.